Mr. Smith here. I'm Gary, walking my art room for the first time, putting it together. It's been 37 years Mr. Smith has been teaching art. I'm at Church Lane Elementary School, and we're in Baltimore County, Maryland. And this is my room right here, room 122. And we're going to go from start to finish and put things together and make everything right for the boys and girls that be coming in 2 weeks. I'm a little bit early, but I'd like to get a jump on things. This is my last year, so I'm going to go out with a bang. So you stay tuned and watch and see all that an art teacher has to go through to make their room turn into something really nice for the students. All right? Stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hit the thumbs up. That's a like. Then hit subscribe and hit that bell. The first thing that I do when starting my room is to organize my furniture. And so if you don't know where it's going to be, you need to sit down and draw a map and figure it out. Being that I've been doing this for 37 years, I kind of know where I want to have things in. And this is my second year in this room. One of the things that we did at the end of the year was make a map so that our building service workers, once they take the items out of the room to wax the floor and put them back in, they would be able to put the items back where they belong. And they did a very good job, with the exception of a few tables that were in the wrong places. I should have labeled and put numbers on the tables in the map so they could have matched them, but they did a very good job. I'm very happy with that. Saved me a lot of work. Normally they just put the stuff in and pile it up in one end, and you got to move it all over the floor and then scratch up your beautiful floor. This year, for the things that I had in my back room, I even had furniture sliders put underneath, like my file cabinets and things that were not on wheels, so I did not scratch up the floors. I did leave up my signs, my table color signs. I wasn't going up and down on the ladder to do that. I'd have enough up and down on the ladder as it is. All right, after I do that, I have certain tables I put tablecloths on. As you already see to the left, I placed my tablecloths, and now I'm working on my, what people call the museum wall. I had one teacher that said, "Mr. Smith, I sent a new student down to see your room to see the museum." I said, "Museum? What museum?" She was talking about my room because I have so many different works of art, sculptures, and just things I've collected over the years. People say that it ends up looking more like a museum than just an art room. And I really, really like that because everybody has enjoyed walking into my rooms. They say it's very artsy. They could just stay in there all day and be creative. I'm talking about teachers, parents, and students. And if you wonder about these bears, I use the bears for observational drawing. At one time, I used to do observational drawing with shoes and just regular shapes, spheres, triangles, rectangles, pyramids, that kind of thing. But my kids get a kick out of the bears, and I'll tell you a quick story. When I first got married, I found out my wife loved bears. So every holiday, I gave her a bear. I gave her a bear for Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, you name it. I gave my wife a bear. She had all kinds of bears. I would have people dressed up in bear costumes delivering bears to her. We had so many bears in the house that if we had guests that would come in and to try to sit down in the living room, they couldn't sit because we had bears everywhere. My wife said to me, "We got to do something. You got to get rid of these bears. There's too many bears in here." So I packed the bears up and put the bears in my upstairs in the attic, and they stayed there for a couple years in bags until I decided to take them to school and have the kids draw them. And I had so many bears that I had enough for a class of 30 to have 2 or 3 bears at a group of tables, and they could rotate bears until they found a bear that they really felt good about. And an excellent drawing experience for my kids, and I got to see how they started to love the bears. And some kids wanted to take the bears out and hold the bears and take the bears to lunch and all kind of stuff, but it turned out to be something good. So I always have my bears as part of the items that I have on my museum wall. Gotta have the bears. All right. Then, after I get my museum wall done, then it's time to start putting up artwork on my walls. I have a choice. I have an abundance of visuals, museum posters, different things that I've collected. And then I have some kids' artworks over the years that they have donated, students have donated to my library, which I use to teach different lessons throughout the year and throughout the years. I was putting up one, and I had an example from a student I had many, many years ago. And I always wondered about this child. And so I looked her up. I find out she's a PhD scientist in Austin, Texas. And I messaged her on Facebook, and she came back and sent me a beautiful, beautiful email telling me about how I was so influential to her and her development as a student of many of the things that she learned in my classroom. And I'm telling you, after that, it just made my day. And she was one of my favorite students. I got a few students that I always wonder about what happened to them. And so I found one, and just makes a teacher's heart feel so good when they know that they have really influenced how a student turns out. Now, nobody really ever asked me why I put certain things next to each other. I do put up certain artworks by students because they have something to do with a project that we will be doing later on. And I do change one wall, which is a wall that I use for whatever that project of the next few weeks is about. Try to pull as many examples of that up. Because I think students learn more from students than they do from the teacher. Sometimes, teachers, we can go on and on and on, and just doesn't hit the home. But my peer teachers, my student peer teachers that get what I'm trying to explain or teach, they can explain it and the kid gets it. Sometimes I think it's just a tone of voice. I'm hearing it from another kid, that if that kid can get it, then maybe I can do it too. So thank you for all my peer students out there that have helped me get my message across to other students. Mr. Smith appreciates you. always have and always will. My student leaders. Now we go around the room. I start at one wall and go to the next one. I'm putting up some of my honors right now. I've had the pleasure to be honored by my school system several times and chosen to be a candidate for Teacher of the Year several times. Now I just want to finish off this last year and have it to be a memorable year for myself and for my students and for my staff. And hopefully, I know it's not my job, but I would like to find, and I think I have found, someone that's going to take over. I got 2 candidates. Someone to take over and to leave the school in good hands with. So we'll see as the year progresses what happens and who's going to take my place. It's always somebody. And, you know, I'm going to say they're not going to do as good, but everybody has their own forte and way of doing things. So we're going to see what happens. Now, this little piece here I put up, it's for conscious discipline. And I really didn't know how it worked, but I had a demonstration yesterday. So I'm going to be taking it down and putting it on the floor and using it with a couple students, especially if we have some kind of argument or dispute, and see if we can get them to work things out. You know, there's something great about those meetings that you have at the beginning of the year. A lot of people think, this meeting is not worth anything, but there's always something, you know, something you'll pull out and say, ooh, I didn't know. I wondered what that was for, how to use that. Well, I learned something different. So you can teach an old dog new tricks. Now, my final wall is for my art elements and design principles. Very important concepts that we try to teach the kids, and they use them all the time. I tell them it's like the alphabet of art, building blocks on what art is based on. I even found a couple that I could put up that were in Spanish. I have a lot of Spanish speaking kids. Sometimes I like to put up some things that make them feel a little more comfortable. They can look around and say, oh wow, I know what that says. Well, he put something up that's in my language. So, and I'm going to make it a point to learn how to, I want to speak fluently in Spanish. So, next couple years is something I want to try to do. I've been in 2 countries where I spoke the language and it was a little broken. I spent some time in Italy as a college student, and then I took a group of kids to China for 6 weeks and lived with a Chinese family. Still spoke little broken Chinese and English. Now we're taking a little look around the whole room to see what Mr. Smith has put up. I got things from Color Wheels to Matisse, with my big safety banner. I run the safeties too, Safety Patrol. I have kids art, things I get from Davis, things I have gotten from Scholastic, things I've gotten from parents, things I've gotten from some of my travels around the world. I got my little corner over here where I have my electronics, and this is an example of how my tables look for my intermediate classes. That's 3 through 5. I normally have crayons, color pencils, skinny markers, large markers, rulers, and regular pencils. I have things from all over the world: Mexico, Indonesia, Africa, Jamaica, handmade things. Some bought, some made. Ming Dao, painting of Dr. King, my accolades. Me and my wife, my son. Yes, I have diplomas. You go in the doctor's office, you see his degrees. You come in the teacher's room, you should see their degrees too. Although we're not paid like the doctors. That's something else for me to talk about. Not in this video. We don't do it for the money. We do it for the love. Do it for the love of art. For the love of students. All right. I want to thank you for watching Mr. Smith put his art room together, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you're an art teacher, you know what it is to go through getting your room straight. Well, in a little over 20 minutes, you've seen what I do and have done for the last 37 years to get things straight for these kids. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, share with a friend, and come back and see Mr. Smith again. Mr. Smith's Art Room for Kids. Take care.